What is up, everyone, and welcome back to Across the Board, sponsored by MoneyBall Metrics. I am your host, AlphaDog Bets, here with my guy, JD, from Line Movers, and we are super excited to welcome Alex Blickle on the show today. Alex is the Director of Analytics for FTN, a fantastic company. You guys can see his @ right down below. Make sure you guys drop him a follow. Alex, thanks again for joining us. How are you today?
Doing very well. Should be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. We're super pumped to have you on. And guys, Alex is a big football guy, so we are going to be going over a couple football games today. As always, though, JD, this show started as a baseball show, so we're obviously going to have some baseball content as well. JD, over to you. How are you today, brother?
Good, man. I'm super pumped. Should be a fun show. We're doing a little Wednesday NFL action, so that's going to be fun, man.
Hell yeah, I'm definitely excited to dive in. Fellas, as we always do on the show, we talked about the slate yesterday, so we are going to dive right into our Tuesday recap. JD, I'm going to start with you. How did you do yesterday?
And yesterday was a pretty good day. Ended up going 5-0. So yeah, cannot complain there. I had one tennis play. That was a nice easy winner. And then in the baseball slate, did go 4-0. As far as my best bet on the show, there won. And then our prop of the day also won. So it was a very good day.
Hell yeah, we love to hear that. I'll go up here next. Not the same results for me yesterday. We had a difficult day. Brewers kind of let us down. The Yankees, I'm not even going to talk about that. If you guys watched that game, JD, I have to give you credit. You called it perfectly. You said the advantage in that game was the bullpens, and it was not on the Yankees side. What happened? Tie game, 7th inning. Fernando Cruz came in. And I think he's still out there trying to throw his first strike. I believe he walked 5 guys in that inning. Absolute disaster from him. But we bounce back today. Alex, what did you think of the sports slate yesterday? Anything that stuck out from you, possibly in baseball?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't as fun as my Sunday. I had a really fun Sunday in week 1 in the NFL. So riding that high a little bit still. But yesterday I went 2 for 3 on MLB props. Problem is, I love underdog. I love the pick'em stuff. So 2 for 3 is a loss. So we're looking for 3 for 3 today.
Let's get it. It's a beautiful slate today with a lot of games. I know our viewers are excited to get into a little action. So, gentlemen, as we always do on the show, you ready to dive in to a little baseball and get into the MLB daily slate?
Yes, sir.
Let's get it, boys. First game we're going to be breaking down today is going to be JD's Brewers going to Texas and taking on the Rangers. Pitching for the Milwaukee Brewers today is Freddie Peralta. Guys, if you've watched this show for the duration of this show, you know how we feel about Freddie Peralta. He's been fantastic. He's 16-5 on the year with a 2.5 ERA and a 1.07 WHIP. On the other side, we have Merrill Kelly. Merrill Kelly is 11-7 with a 3.16 ERA and a 1.04 WHIP. All that being said, we're going to have to start with our guest, Alex. Anything you like in this game? Anything stand out that you're going to be playing?
No, and that's kind of the theme of the day for me. I only found one MLB prop all day that I like. It's not in either of these games. What I will say is from this game, as a Phillies fan, I've got to be rooting against JD's Brewers. We're trying to track them down. The lead seems unsurmountable now over the Mets for us, so it's just about going and chasing down those Brewers.
I think you're right there. I think you're absolutely right with your Phillies. I do think the best thing that they could have happen is catching the Brewers here. I don't think they have to worry about the Mets right now, especially if you've seen a Mets game as of late. I don't think anybody would be worrying about that Mets team with how they've played over the last 2 months.
And especially because right now when the Phillies win games, it's against the Mets. So as long as they keep doing that, the Mets have no chance.
Absolutely. JD, over to you.
Yeah, man. As far as the Brewers, they're like really not my team.
You can't do that now. No,
hang on.
No
hang on.
shot. Are we allowed?
Hang on. I was actually just letting Alex know there that I just happened to get on them right when their streak of games went on, and I got on them right at the start. And then ever since then, I've had a very good read of knowing when to stay off of them and actually whatnot. But anyway, as far as money, they have made me a lot of money. So I've had to buy some actually Brewers gear and some hats to wear on the show and stuff like that. So that's why they're kind of my team. But yeah, on the mound today, Freddie, he's been pitching great. Over his last 5 starts. I mean, as far as baseball, he has been your number one guy. He's actually not allowed a single run his last 5 starts. believe he's on a 29 inning stretch currently. Yep, 29. I mean, weather's great. The thing about his starts, though, he has not been going deep. He's only been going about 5. He's a guy who still walks guys, and the pitch count just really gets up there quick. So this is a Brewers team now. As far as the bullpen, we've actually talked about it quite a bit, where the bullpen is just not as is not as actually strong as they were. And this is a game where I think that the bullpen is probably going to have to give them quite a bit here. Yeah. So what I'm looking at here is more on the first 5. Now, as far as the Rangers, as far as actually Kelly goes, can't really say anything bad actually about him, man. I mean, actually, he's been pitching great. So there's nothing really, bad to say there. And as far as the Brewers lineup goes, his numbers against them are good. I will say the sample size there, though, is really small. So I don't really take into account that too much. But just actually overall here, guys, I just think the Brewers on the first 5, looks like you can get them at -130. I just think that number's too actually small, guys. I have this price in the first 5 at actually -155. So that is how I'm going to play this game here.
There we go. I'll jump in here next, guys. Let's take a look at these 2 pitchers. So Freddie Peralta's been absolutely lights out. We talk about it on the show every single time he pitches, and JD alluded to it perfectly. His last 5 games, when you take a look at the summary of the games, he has a 0 in the earned run column for every single one of those games. He's been absolutely lights out. He's not giving up anything, but JD put it perfectly as well. He is throwing a lot of pitches and is getting taken out on average to start the 6th inning. So he's not going extremely deep, but he's not going short enough where I think it's a huge issue. Going over to Merrill Kelly. At home, he's 5-4 in the year with a 3.17 ERA. He pitches the exact same, whether he's at home or on the road. On the road, he has a 3.15 ERA. At home, 3.17. That's the same thing. The one thing that scares me about this game is that they have won, the Rangers, 3 consecutive starts when Merrill Kelly has been on the bump. So he's been able to get it done for them as of late. This game, though, I do think the Brewers are going to have a big performance, and they are going to win. They were let down again last night. They've lost the first 2 games of the series. They need to get one back, and this is the one they will get back. They have their guy, Freddie, going, the stopgap, the guy who gets it done for them. He's 16-5 on the year, guys. And another reason this guy doesn't go late into games is because he's a strikeout pitcher. In 158 innings, he has striken out 176 guys. So he has gotten a ton of strikeouts. That does get him out of the games a little early. But to me, that's not going to be a big issue in this one. The Brewers should have no problem getting to Merrill Kelly and should have no problem getting the win. So give me the Brewers on the money line. You can currently get that play. Let me get the up-to-date lines for us. Good thing there's not a ton of games today, so I'm able to kind of find it. But that's the early game. You can get it at -130, guys. That's exactly what I'm going to be playing. All right, boys. Let's roll on to our second game of the day, and then I think the bulk of the show today is going to be in the NFL, which all of us want to talk about. So let's move on to the second game of the day that JD is making me talk about, that I don't want to talk about, but that's going to be the Detroit Tigers going back to New York and taking on those Yankees. Pitching for the Tigers is Jack Flaherty. Flaherty is 7-13 on the year with a 4.85 ERA and a 1.3 whip. On the other side is Carlos Rodon, who's having a very good year for himself. He's 16-7 with a 3.12 ERA and a 1.07 whip. We're going to change it up for this one. JD, we're going to let you go first. What do you like in this one?
Man, I know as far as yesterday's show, as far as our Yankees game breakdown, you did not really like me much there.
Nope.
As far as today's game, I think you're going to like me, though.
Okay.
As far as Rodon, just like you said, he's been pitching great. As far as the whole season, he has been pitching well. But especially currently, he is in great form. He has given up 2 earned runs or either less, and actually 6 straight starts now. And in his games, the Yankees bats they have also been backing him up. So those are 2 things that we definitely like to see. And then as far as actually Jack Flaherty goes, everybody knows if you've been watching the show, he's a guy that I try to pick my spots and actually try to fade him. That's the only way I'm gonna hit his games.
Do you normally fade him on the road? Because that's where his numbers are just terrible. He's got a 5.75 ERA on the road. He's 2-6. Is this the spot you're looking to target?
Yes. Yeah, just like you said, his actual road numbers are worse. And then just especially lately, like the past 7 or 8 games, I'm not sure if it's just getting late in the season and like his like arm is just getting tired, but his like stuff is just not the same. It's just not quite there.
His arm is taxed, right? He's
Yeah.
just not delivering the same performances he does early in the season. And look at his last couple starts, JD. I mean, his last start against the White Sox, who are not a world beater on offense, they lost 7-5. He was only able to go 4 innings, gave up 6 hits, 4 earned, had 2 walks, only struck out 2. I think his arm is taxed.
Yeah, that there's really what that actually looks like here. In his last 7 starts, the Tigers are actually 1-6. He has given up at least 4 runs in 4 of his last 6 starts. So guys, here I'm actually looking the same way as the first game. I'm also looking at the first 5. This time I'm going to take the Yankees' first 5 minus the half run here. Now for some fun stats here. As far as Rodon, if you have played this certain play, the Yankees' first 5 minus the half run, he has had 13 home starts, and this has won 12 of those starts. 12 out of 13 times. 12 out of 13 times. And he has also won 11 straight times. So
getting in the Priester realm, huh? Getting in the Quinn Priester range.
Yep, starting to. So if you're into the trends actually side of things, there is a very strong trend towards it. But just even taking that out, I actually really like this play.
There we go. Alex, I know you said you don't have many baseball plays today, just one prop. I have a feeling it's not in this game, but what do you think is going to happen in this Yankees-Tigers game tonight?
So I really like this game from a DFS perspective, like over on DraftKings. Flaherty and the Yankees have kind of the same tendency, which is both of them can be quite good. So in the Yankees case, that would then mean like just not scoring runs. But when they produce, when runs are scored either for the Yankees or against Flaherty, it's through the long ball. So if you're stacking the Yankees, you might have like 6 home runs in your stack. You might win everything. You also might get shut out and finish last place. But when you're playing tournaments over in the DFS streets, you don't care about whether you get last place. You just care how often you're going to get first place. So I really like the Yankees as a stack. I mentioned this before the show to you guys, but I was on them last night in DFS. I'm going to be on them again for the same reason. We've got 4 of their guys in the projected lineup, projected with a 23% home run probability or higher, including Judge all the way up at 34%. And that's not even projecting Stanton to be in the lineup. So if Stanton is in the lineup, now we'd have 5 guys projected over 23% with a home run. And it's really hard to find that anywhere in DFS, let alone for a team where every single guy's going to be under 10%.
That's amazing. And the Yankees, everyone knows the short porch. It's one of the easier stadiums to go deep at as well. So I definitely love that angle. Are there any guys you're targeting? So I did just pull up the home run odds here. Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton are tied for the shortest odds in the game. They're at plus 255. Rice at plus 370, Jazz Chisholm plus 390, Trent Grisham plus 420. Just off going on this with looking at the odds for everything, just going off who the Yankees have had hot lately. Do you think a guy maybe like Trent Grisham at the plus 420? He leads off every night. He's guaranteed to get the most ABs on the team because he's in that first slot. Do you think he's maybe a guy to target, Alex? And who do you like outside of Judge in the homer realm for this game?
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind that. We've got him at 23% to homer, so I think there definitely is some value there. But I will say, like, I haven't placed a home run bet all season. I very much like to find the less paid attention to markets. So, like in the NBA side, the thing that I had the most success on this year was taking unders on free throws made. I know that that's not a fun thing, but you know it is fun hitting 64% of them. So
Absolutely.
As long as you're doing well, betting is really fun. And so. Of the markets that I've attacked the most this year in baseball have been unders on runs, singles market, walk market, both for pitchers and hitters, and that's actually where I have the one today. It's under half a walk for James Wood, and
awesome.
So yeah, that's been my strategy, and it's gone really well. And I think the reason for that is just it's not even necessarily about like liking a player or not liking a player on that day. It's more about understanding the full distribution and how some distributions can really skew either to an under or an over. And so like in James Wood's case, for example, he's averaging 0.56 walks per game this year, but he's under half a walk 58% of the time. So when you can find that discrepancy in a market where you know, okay, well, his price is probably going to reflect his average, but when the average and the actual median outcome are that different, mean versus median, I think we find a lot of advantages. So we only have Wood projected at 0.52 walks over at FTN today, and so that creates a really big advantage. I've got that at 62% to go under. So I really like that one. It's only minus 115 at Bet365.
Wow, only minus 115. Bet365. You heard it from Alex first. Guys, tail him. Tail that bet. If you lose, block him. If you win, follow him. Put the pressure on. So make sure you check him out. That's a fantastic stat and edge that you found in that category. All right.
Alpha, really quick. As far as those home run numbers, as far as let me pull it up here. What were those numbers one more time? Just I start going through that list if you don't mind.
I think he
Hold on,
said
just reading-
420 for Grisham.
Which player were you looking for? Sorry, there's a new NBA rule change. Not a rule change, but a stat change. I was just reading that update. I'll go over that in just a moment. But which player are you looking at?
I'm looking at a couple, but I think as far as Bellinger goes, I think that's who I'm really looking to target here.
Yeah, lefty against the righty, plus 440.
Okay, it is a plus 4. I was about to say, as long as it's at least a plus 4 something, then I'd be fine with that. So yeah, I'm actually going to add that on.
There we go. Yeah, the only Yankees that are under plus 400, I shouldn't say only because it's about half the lineup, but Judge, Stanton, Ben Rice, and Jazz Chisholm are all under that plus 400. Then you have Grisham, Bellinger, and McMahon and Goldschmidt are the kind of in between plus 400 and plus 600 where you could potentially find a little value. And then if you really want to just suffer and not win, you could take Anthony Volpe plus 830, but we all know what's going to happen for the result of that bet. All right, I'll go into my play on this game next, guys. Shocking, I know. I have a parlay in this game, and it's a pretty square fucking parlay. I'm not going to lie to any of you guys out there. It's the Yankees on the money line with Carlos Rodon. JD put it perfectly. This team wins when he's on the bump, and that will continue in this spot tonight. And my second leg of the parlay is the LA Dodgers, who are hosting the Colorado Rockies. Pitching for the Dodgers is Blake Snell, their guy. They are at home, and I expect a big performance out of this Dodgers team. The parlay odds, you can currently get them at a plus 115. That's exactly what I'm playing. Yet again, Yankees, Dodgers on the money line, plus 115. All right, boys. Well, that's going to do it for the MLB hour on this show. Are you guys ready to dive into a couple NFL games and break those down?
Definitely.
Let's get after it. We're going right in to our first. Oh, things look different now, Jetty. Looks fantastic. We're going right in to the first NFL breakdown of week 2, which is going to be the New England Patriots going to Miami and taking on those Dolphins. We know the storylines going into this game. Patriots probably should have beat the Raiders, but they did not. 20-13 loss there. On the other side, the Dolphins played against the greatest quarterback to ever play in the National Football League. Daniel Jones and his Colts went out there, and I believe on every single offensive possession scored some sort of points. It was the first time that has ever happened, I believe, in NFL history. And he looked fantastic. But is that more of a reflection on how bad this Miami Dolphins defense is, or is that a reflection on how improved this Indianapolis Colts offense is? I butchered that terribly, but you guys get what I am saying there. Alex, you're our football guy. You're the guy in the know. We're going to go over to you. Do you think it was more of a fluke game for Daniel Jones because the Dolphins defense is that terrible? Or do you think Daniel Jones is the second coming of Peyton Manning and the Giants are going to absolutely ruin my life for the next 10 years having to watch Daniel Jones kill every other team?
Yeah, I think this was a story about Miami. I wrote our FTN Almanac chapter on the Dolphins this year. And in that chapter, I wrote something along the lines of this is a defense and particularly a secondary, the disaster waiting to happen. And a week later, they traded Jalen Ramsey. So it became a disaster. Then they had multiple injuries beyond that. And to me, this is the kicker. They produced 7 pressures against Daniel Jones this past week. This is Daniel Jones. This is the guy who invites more pressure than like almost anybody in the league. He holds the ball way too long. They only pressured him 7 times. They blitzed a league-leading 19 times. This defense needs that front 7. They need that front to produce pressure. It's the only hope they have of being even competent defensively. And if the pass rush is going to be that ineffective, they have zero chance. This is going to be one of the worst secondaries in the league. I really, truly believe that we could be watching the worst defense in the history of the NFL this year on the Miami Dolphins. I want to bet against them as much as I possibly can. Wow.
So what angles are you looking at to take here? What's the official kind of way you're going to take this game? Also, What do you think about Tua? Because on this show, we also just talk about what we've seen in the games.
Yeah.
Man. Did he look like the worst quarterback who's ever stepped on a field on Sunday? And I'm not exaggerating. He was that bad.
Yeah. Well, how deep in the stats do you want to get here? Because we can go
deep in the stats.
Okay. So this was another thing from my Miami chapter. I think is just like a really kind of fascinating conversation. In 2023, Miami's offense was kind of unbelievable, right? We remember how good they were. One of the really unique things about their offensive system and what McDaniel did is that when they didn't have any kind of motion, they were not a good running team. They were like 20th in EPA, 20th in success rate, something like that. When they ran with motion, which they did more than any other team in the league, something they've done every year of McDaniel's tenure, they were first by a mile in EPA, first by a mile in success rate. Achane and Mostert were 1 and 2 in explosive rushing yards with motion, even though they're stealing opportunities from each other. Last year, they were dead last in EPA per play running with motion. It just totally fell off the table. I don't think there's any possible explanation to that other than defenses figured out how to counter Mike McDaniel's system, and McDaniel hasn't figured out a way to counter the counter yet. And from week 1, we saw nothing suggesting that he's figured out how to counter the counter. And one of the big reasons, and this is kind of a bit of a chicken or the egg situation, is if you don't have to worry about the run anymore and the explosive plays in the run game, it becomes a lot easier to stop the explosive pass. Conversely, you could also say maybe the reason it's so much easier for them to stop the run now is because they're no longer worried about the deep pass because Tua has just become that inept. So I don't know which one's which. My guess is it's a little of both, and it's becoming cyclical, and there's exponential returns in that area. But it's a very grim picture for the offense and an even more grim picture for the Miami defense.
Yeah, and one stat I saw this weekend that was mind-boggling to me is that Tyreek Hill has not had a reception over 29.5 yards in a full calendar year. Yep. It's Tyreek Hill. The guy made his career on doing that.
If it's going to happen, I think it will happen this week, though, provided Christian Gonzalez is out again. Because even let me just ask you this way: like if you are a defensive coordinator and your superstar cornerback is out, what is one adjustment you might make? You probably play a little bit more zone, right?
Absolutely.
Well, New England was first in man coverage rate, and they were first in single high rate last week. So I don't know what that thought was. Clearly, I think part of that is a game script dependent. They were trailing for a lot of the second half, and they knew that, okay, Las Vegas is going to try to run the ball down our throats. We got to stop Genty to get the ball back. So I think part of it was that, but it was also true early in the game when you saw Trey Tucker have that explosive touchdown.
Yeah.
So if it's going to happen, if the Tyreek Hill resurgence or even just like a 31-yard reception is going to happen, I think this is a really good matchup for it, given how man-heavy and single-high heavy New England was last week. We're talking about a guy who 2 years ago shattered or just dominated the rest of the league in yards per hour running in single high with 4.7. He was all the way down at 2.5 last year, but that's still good, and it still led the team by quite a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this is fantastic information, Alex. I knew our viewers were going to absolutely love what you brought to the table. We're getting comments all about what you're presenting to the people. Our guy J-Bo is saying he likes this Alex guy. Very sharp intel. Moody is saying, that's Mason Moody. Shout out Mason Moody saying love the content. Alex and J-Bo is just feeling very nice, saying nice hats. By the way, JD and Alpha. I wear this fucking hat every day, J-Bo, but if you complimented everyone on this show but me, I'd be pissed. So I appreciate you getting that comment in there. JD, we're going to kick it over to you. What do you think about this game? What do you think about the Dolphins? What do you think about, the chosen one, Daniel Jones?
I mean, as far as Tua goes, that was something that I was going to bring up here. Is should he be playing? I mean, do we think that he should even be in the league?
Who
currently?
Tua,
yeah.
Do you know what it costs to get him out of the league?
Well, I'm just saying.
$87 million would be the dead cap if they got rid of him. So they're stuck with him. The contract they built was the worst contract ever for a guy like Tua who has the injury concerns, has been hit a lot. They don't have an out. Alex, what are your thoughts about it?
So I think JD brings up a really good point, a really interesting point, because there was definitely a possible explanation last year for the lack of explosive passing, that it got to a point in the season where McDaniel and company realized, okay, we're not about to win anything. We're not going to make the playoffs. Let's just not have our quarterback die on the field. Yeah. And therefore, they're not calling any place to throw the ball deep. But if that were the case, we would have hopefully seen them more aggressive through the air and more effective through the air in week 1. We saw the exact opposite. In fact, against single high last week, Tua had 0.1 yards per dropback. That's unfathomable, right? Like 2 years ago, he was at 8.1. So 0.1 is just comically bad. I don't know where we go from here, but I think it's a really good question because there's not only is it like, well, is Tua even healthy enough, or is it, is the risk of Tua playing just not worth it? There's also a question of, have the concussions affected his level of play and like the speed with which he processes coverages to the point where he's never going to be effective again? I think it's a very legitimate question to ask.
I agree with you 1,000%. But then you look at the depth chart, guys. What are they going to do? Because they can't spend any more money at quarterback. They have a very high-priced quarterback. They cannot spend any more money. Well, let's look up at the backups. Maybe they have a viable option behind Tua, right? Do you know who the backup is to Tua?
Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
And do you know who the backup to Zach Wilson is? Quinn Ewers. Quinn Ewers. So the quarterback room outside of Tua, I'm not sure. Maybe a concussed Tua who can't process is still significantly better than Zach Wilson and whatever Quinn Ewers is in 2025.
Yeah, I don't think that they should bench Tua or try to get rid of Tua, but I think Tua should consider retiring.
I would agree, but knowing Tua.
Yeah, there was kind of the point that I was going to try to get to there, is I think him just actually on his own, I think it's about time to realize that and just get off the field. I mean, but everybody knows that he wants to play. Everybody knows just from the past, he wants to play through everything. And actually, he just wants to be on the field. So, I mean, like we all know that. But I'm definitely interested, especially for these next few games, to just see how he looks. Because look, as far as last week, you could not have played worse. And actually, not just him. I just mean
everyone.
Team now, yes. You literally could not have played worse.
What do you think his QBR was?
It was like 5 or something like that.
Half of that, 2.7.
I was going to say whatever the minimum is.
Yeah,
literally.
Yeah,
he was that bad.
It was bad. But as far as the Pats, they didn't really look that great either, though.
They also were a letdown. They also looked terrible.
As far as the look ahead line here was Dolphins at actually -2.5. We're seeing, Dolphins -1, in that area here. So the number hasn't moved as much as you probably would have thought it would with just how bad the Dolphins looked. But yeah, as far as the Patriots, what I noticed last week was, as far as their run game, I was surprised with how poor that actually was there. So I am definitely expecting them to try to get more back towards that here during this game. But as far as their defense, also last week, they ended up giving up 389 yards. They held the Raiders, to actually 20 points. So it was one of those defensive efforts where they definitely bent quite a bit, but just didn't fully break most of the time there. So that's kind of what I'm expecting, of them actually, as the season goes. But can Miami actually do anything? As far as the Dolphins, as far as their actually offensive line was not good whatsoever. And as far as helping the offense out and helping Tua out, that's obviously not a good thing. If you take one other stat I thought was interesting was the Dolphins defense. They blitzed over half of the time. Yeah, that's just crazy. That's a blend of actually one as far as the game state has something to do with that. But then just sending everybody like that. Whenever you blitz like that, your guys have as far as their focus is just one thing. They're focused on the one thing. Whereas when you're, in other schemes and everything else, you usually have more than one thing, in your brain you're going through at one time. But as far as coverage and all that. So anyway, to me, it was just weird. Everything here, if you don't really look at the games, if you just go by, as far as my numbers here, as far as the Dolphins, it does actually look like an actual buy low spot. I can't buy low on a team like this though, because it also looked like they quit actually last week. And actually that's week 1.
Yeah,
so
that's bad. That's
if
happening in
you're
week 1. That's bad.
if you're quitting on your team and on your coach and everybody, and actually week 1, that's not a team that I can come back here. This is a game that I don't really want to watch it, but this is a game that I think needs to be watched to see, at least for me, to see if the Dolphins are anywhere nearly as bad as it seems like they are.
I agree.
Because I want to say no, they're not that bad, but I definitely need to see it though.
I totally understand
I think they should be better than what they showed in week 1 offensively, but I don't think they're any better than what they showed defensively. I also think in regards to the Patriots game, I think the Raiders can be a lot better than people expect. So I think we might look back at the week 1 loss from New England very differently 4 or 5 weeks from now than we do right now.
That's a great point. I definitely can see that happening. The Raiders look good. There's no doubt about it. Their offense has some dudes and dogs on that side of the ball, and their defense isn't that bad either. So I agree with you.
The defensive pass rush is for real on that Vegas side.
100%. They've gotten so much better with that. On this specific game, what do you feel about the over? I know we've talked about Miami having potentially one of the worst defenses in NFL history. The Patriots were able to get a couple points as well. I know they didn't score a ton, but I do think they will play better in this game against this defense. And the total's very low here, sitting at 43.5. What do you think about potentially the over? Because that's the way I'm currently leaning looking at this game.
I love the over. It wouldn't shock me if New England hits the over on just themselves.
Man, I'm excited to see this game.
I think they're going. I will be playing New England on DraftKings. I'll tell you that much right now. I like the Patriots a lot.
Let's go.
The
Patriots win 50-0.
You were definitely talking me into one of my favorite types of plays, and that's give me a Patriots first half team total over.
That's a JD special right there.
Yeah, there's definitely what this sounds like here.
Any other props or anything else on this game would you guys like to talk about before we move on to the second game and final NFL game of the day?
Let's go to Broncos.
Yeah.
Let's go to it, boys. Next game we're going to is going to be the Denver Broncos going to the Fighting Daniel Jones and taking on the Colts. Both teams 1-0, going over their first week game. Broncos play the Titans. Did they look good? No. Did the Titans look bad? Yeah. Real bad. On the other side, we already talked about this Colts-Dolphins game that we already saw, but just to reiterate, the Colts took the Dolphins out back and beat the you-know-what out of them. That's how that game played out. So into this one, we have a very close line, guys. Bookmakers seem to think that these two teams, maybe not even, but somewhat close to even when they're putting out a 2.5-point line. I know that you usually get 3 points in the NFL for being at home, so I guess they're kind of saying this is about a 5-point spread between these two teams. But currently, the Broncos are only favored by 2.5, and you can get the money line on the Broncos at only a -120. Alex, we got to go back over to you. What do you think about the Broncos winning this game, and what do you think about the line that the odds makers have set for this game?
So where I'll start is we picked these two games for a specific reason, and it's because this game is actually an extension of the Miami defense conversation in the sense that if we think that Miami might be a historically bad defense, it puts the Daniel Jones week 1 performance under a very different light. And suddenly it's also worth noting just how different this Denver defense is than Miami, not just from a talent perspective, but Miami played the least amount of single high in week 1. They were up there in the top 10 in zone rate. Denver is 5th. Denver was, I should say, 5th in single high and 5th in man coverage rate. And of course, we're talking about a defense that gets a ton of pressure and gets home. They had 6 sacks. We only charted one of those over at FTN as Cam Ward's fault. So the others, it's not that Denver was getting quick pressure. It's just their secondary is that damn good. So if Daniel Jones doesn't have a clear and obvious place to throw early on, you know this, he's going to hold the ball. He's going to take some bad sacks. So I think this is a really, really good spot to back Denver. I also think it's a really good under because if there is a question that I have for Denver, it's their offense. And in particular, it's how does Bo Nix fare against competent defenses? Because if you look at his performances last year, his overall numbers looked fairly good, but all of the production, all of the good performances came against bad defenses. He was kind of horrific against great defenses. The Colts are not that. The Colts, I would kind of put them in the same group as the Titans, though, last week. It's they might be decent. They might not be. We don't really know. Certainly don't think they're going to be elite. But Nick struggled last week, so maybe he struggles again here.
What did you think about the Titans? I know that we're not talking about them in this game, but man, Cam Ward didn't play as bad of a game as the stats would lead you to believe. His receivers let him down time and time again in that game. There were plenty of opportunities that the Titans had to have some big plays where, let's just be honest, Calvin Ridley, I'm going to single you out. You dropped everything. You really did not help your rookie quarterback at all. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's also worth noting like just how difficult of a first NFL matchup that is, right? Like that's as tough as it gets. It's one Denver definitely one of the best secondaries in the league, and then they added to it, by the way, with their rookie nickel corner. So they're going to be really, really good defensively. I think Cam Ward was pretty impressive, and like I mentioned, I think one of the strengths that we do over at FTN Fantasy, if anyone wants to check it out, use promo code BLICK BLICK for 10% off there. Is crediting sacks either to the offensive line or to the quarterback, blaming sacks, if you will. And only one of the 6 for Cam Ward we charted as his fault. I think that's really encouraging for him moving forward.
Especially as a rookie quarterback, right? We all see these rookie quarterbacks when pressure comes in the pocket, they tend to roll out of the pocket and walk into sacks. As a Giants fan, unfortunately, you'd think Russell Wilson is a rookie quarterback with how much he walked into sacks this weekend. But I think that's a great point and great to talk about the maturity of Cam Ward. He played a good game. He did not lose them that game. The team let him down is my biggest takeaway from that. JD, thoughts about this Broncos-Colts game before I give my pick?
This to me is probably the most interesting game of the week. Because just like y'all said, I mean, the Colts, they looked as good as literally as they possibly could have. What did they not score on like actually literally every time they had
every possession? They had points.
Every single possession. I mean, that's just crazy. You can't get better than that. But that goes back to actually what Alex said though. The Dolphins made Daniel Jones and this offense look that good because I don't believe that this. Now I am higher on the Colts than actually most people are, but I don't think they're anywhere near that good though.
I agree.
So, and then the Broncos, they were definitely the actual opposite here. I thought last week for them was an absolute smash spot, and they made that game really tough.
Yeah, they did.
Really tough. They did not play well there. So, I mean, when it comes down to it, as far as the look ahead here was Broncos at actually -3.5. So you've gone from the 3 with that hook, and it is all the way sitting at 2 now. Matter of fact, you can even get a 1.5 at actually some shops. There's a lot of Colts love here. I mean, because obviously they just look they just look so good. As far as the Broncos defense, there's a squad that I definitely really like. Last week, I don't even think fully showed that. So I am expecting them actually to be better on both sides of the ball here. Everything to me here, this looks like a Bronco spot, like a great buy low spot. To be honest, I need a little bit more time with this game. So everybody make sure to tune into the Friday show. And actually, I will give you whatever play that I end up coming up with here. But as far as the Broncos side, there's definitely what everything points towards though.
Yeah, I don't need till Friday, so I'll spoil it now. I am 1,000% on the Broncos on the money line here. I don't think this one's going to be relatively close. You look at the defensive side of the ball for this Broncos team. Dre Greenlaw, Alex Singleton, Nick Benito, and then on the back line, Pat Surtain, Talanoa Hufanga, Brandon Jones. Daniel Jones, welcome. Welcome to your first real test of the season. You're now the starter out there. You are going up against a defense that is going to be in the backfield significantly more than what you saw last week. And I think the Broncos defense is going to be the X factor here. And I also think coaching is going to be a big factor here. I think the Broncos are very well coached on both sides of the ball. And I do think defensively, they'll be schemed up enough to have a big game against Daniel Jones and really confuse him because, let's be honest, we've seen Daniel Jones for a very long time. If you get pressure on him and you confuse him, he's a bottom 3 starting quarterback in the NFL. If you give Daniel Jones time and he's able to process everything at his speed, he's a dangerous quarterback. But that's not what works in the NFL. You don't usually get time to process defenses like he needs and like he got in the first week. So I don't anticipate his performance to be anywhere remotely close to what he looked like in that first game. Thomas is asking, what's the juice on the money line? It's minus 120. It's minus 120, so not very juicy. By far, my favorite early read of this week's slate. Any props you guys like in this game? Anything else you want to dive into before we get into our best bets and our prop of the day?
I haven't been able to look at the prop side of it yet, but what I will say is I think on the New England side, Hunter Henry should have a very good game given how much too high Miami played. So I will be probably heavy on Hunter Henry, Steph Diggs, and also Trevion Henderson looked like he was going to be really involved in the passing game against too high when teams drop back. So I think all three of those guys are going to be on my short list of potential guys in DraftKings and in the prop market.
And when you decide all of your props, all of your lineups that you're doing, where can the people out there go and find you to get your information?
Yeah, as you guys are, I'm in the Tails Marketplace. You can find me there. The quickest way to find the link is just follow me on Twitter at Alex Blickle1, and then the link is in my bio.
There you go. Guys, go give him a follow right now. Don't wait till after the show because you will forget. I know a lot of you guys. Go follow him now, and let's cash together. David asked a great question before we go into the next segment of the show. Alpha, did I eat over 100 wings last weekend? Probably made it to about 40, gonna be honest with you. Probably about 40. So the under cashed easily there, David, but this weekend's a new week, brother. Let's get the wings down the gullet. All right, boys. There's a couple things we still have left to do on this show. The first thing that we do on this show is go over our player prop of the day. JD, let's bring up our player prop of the day, which is sponsored by the Hall of Fame app. Guys, if you guys do not subscribe to Hall of Fame yet, make sure you take advantage of this. They're offering our viewers 50% off their monthly package plus a 7-day free trial. You're not getting that anywhere else, guys. And as you guys saw from the Luke's play yesterday, you can find some gems on here and really cash. We've said it over and over on this show. We partnered with the HOF app because we're users of the HOF app, and we love all the different data that they do provide. JD, how did we do yesterday on our first official prop of the day?
Yesterday was a nice, easy win for us. Luke's, I believe he struck out his second time up.
Yep.
And we actually got that here on the show, gave it out at plus 105. That prop closed at minus 150. So we definitely got a great line there. Definitely beat that line move and actually got the win. So that was about as perfect as actually that could go.
JD, quickly, before we go into today's prop, so a very famous thing on the show is we do cluck bets. So let me tell you what that is. Alex, if you lose a cluck bet, you get to come on this show and cluck like a chicken. That is our staple, one of our fun ways we like to do betting here, have a little fun with each other. Mason, what do you want us to put a cluck bet on? Because as you know, I don't lose cluck bets. So you tell us what you want us to go on, and we will definitely talk about it and maybe do a cluck bet. JD, back to you. I apologize.
Yeah, guys, over on the Hall of Fame app, as far as a prop, I have actually already found one, but I'm just going to show you how I should use the app a little bit more. As far as the trends tab, going to go over here, and then as far as you can filter things out in a ton of different ways. So we're going to go by games here. We're going to go to the Nationals and the Nationals and National Marlins game, and then you can.
What a game everyone's excited about!
Oh yeah,
the mighty Nationals and the mighty Marlins, baby.
And then the stat that I want is the HRR stat: hits, runs, plus RBIs. So we have filtered now for that, and there it goes. It actually popped right up here for me. Player that I'm sure everybody knows because they don't even have a picture of him, but Mr. Lyle. That's Lile. Mr. Lyle. We're gonna go with his over 1.5 hits, runs, plus RBIs. This actually is a client play for me. When I actually gave it out this morning, it was at minus 103. You can still get a minus 110 at actually Caesars, which that line I think is totally fine. As far as for this stat here, the head-to-head here, he has actually hit this every single time. In his last 5 games, he has hit this every single time. In his last 10 games, as you can see, he has hit it 9 out of those 10 times. And then even in his last 20 games, he has hit this 73% of the time. This is somebody who is swinging a hot bat. He's somebody that is actually getting on base, and actually he is scoring runs. You can see by the graph and everything here. As far as the actual pitching matchup, you can break that down. You can see it versus as far as the actual starter here. You can see all of his stats there.
Also, JD, crazy stat on Daylon Lilly, however you pronounce it. His road average is a 315. His season average is a 282. He's on the road today where he's performing significantly better.
Yep. And as far as Perez goes, that's who he faces today. Honestly, this season really hasn't been that bad for him. But his past few starts, he has looked horrible.
Yep.
And he is giving up a bunch of long balls too. It just came out of nowhere. But he also just saw this team also. So I am expecting, as far as the Nats here, to actually score runs today. So there's another reason why I like this prop. So yeah, guys, you can see all the different things that you can see here. But yeah, the official prop is going to be Lyle over 1.5 hits, runs, plus RBIs.
Let's get it. Let's see Lyle have a big performance here. All right, boys. We have one more segment on the show, and that's diving into our best bets. But best bets is not just us three today. Best bets is powered by, sponsored by Funded Stake. So before we get into a little Funded Stake, we're going to play the beautiful best bets graphic. And then we're going to get right into JD's cousin Derek breaking down all about Funded Stake.
FundedStake.io, the ultimate platform for sports traders looking to unlock their potential without risking their own money. We're here to help you transform your sports betting skills into a profitable and sustainable business. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, Funded Stake gives you the tools and capital to scale your success. Here's how it works. 1. Choose your account. Pick an account size that fits your needs, starting from $1,000 all the way up to $50,000. Your journey starts here. 2. Take the challenge. Hit the profit target while sticking to our risk management rules. For example, with a $10,000 account, aim for $3,300 in profit, place a minimum of 25 sports bets, and maintain the required daily and total loss limits. 3. Get funded. Once you pass the challenge, we'll provide the capital for you to trade. You can keep up to 80% of your profits while we take on all the financial risks. At FundedStake.io, you'll benefit from a fully personalized dashboard where you can monitor your trades, track your challenge progress, and place real-time bets on all major sports leagues. Our platform is built for transparency, ease of use, and performance. With FundedStake.io, you can focus on winning and scaling your success while we cover the risks. No financial stress, just growth and profits. FundedStake.io. Bet smarter, scale faster, win bigger.
Thank you so much to JD's cousin Derek, as always, for breaking down the Funded Stake. And I guess I'll peel back the curtain a little bit. I have an announcement. That might not be JD's cousin Derek. I'm just going to be honest here. But we're going to continue to call him JD's cousin Derek. All right, JD. Well, that's a great word from Funded Stake. Guys, we say it on the show all the freaking time. What's better than gambling with someone else's money and getting to keep a portion of the returns? I'll answer that. Yeah. There's a couple things, JD. The things that we cannot discuss on the air if we want to be able to be kept on YouTube and X. We can't discuss those things, the few things that are better than gambling with someone else's money and keeping the returns. But JD, let's bring up Funded Stake and go over our best bets of the day.
Let's do that here. What do y'all have? Hit me with
Broncos. I'm going the Broncos, brother.
Okay, we're going a little.
I know we're doing it early, but I think this line's going to move. I think this closes closer to a minus 135, minus 140. Instead of minus 120 right now, I'm going to hammer it. This is going out to my clients today as well.
We can get it on Funded Stake right now at minus 129.
See, it's going up. Take it now. I think this is going to close even higher than that, so I'm good to put that in now.
So we're going to go ahead and do that one. And then, Alex, I believe that you're probably going to have an actual NFL bet also. So, actually, what are you going to go with?
Can you do props here?
Yes.
Let's do something for Hunter Henry.
Okay.
I like it, dude. You didn't take an easy out. You didn't take, like me, the Broncos. You didn't take a money line. Let's get into something nitty-gritty. Let's get into props, what people are really looking for. We appreciate that.
You also, by the way, with Denver, I think alt spreads work really well this week because, like we said, Bo Nix is so much better playing with a comfortable lead. So And if Daniel Jones has to drop back traditionally and pass over and over and over again, it's not going to be good.
I mean, unless he's the next Tom Brady, right? We'll find out this coming Sunday.
All right. So as far as a Hunter Henry prop, what are you gonna go with?
What's his yardage?
Let's see here.
So I learned something fun, JD, when you weren't here. I think you could search it at the top here, just Hunter Henry. It'll pull up all his props. So you found it anyway. You're better than me. Thank God you're back, by the way. When I had to do this without you, holy crap, did it look bad. Thank God you're back.
I like the over 31.5. Is
31.5. Okay.
Yeah.
We will put that in for you. I had a receptions prop on actually him last week. It was over 3.5 receptions. I got it like plus 142. And those happened to cash for me on the very last drive.
We love those. We love a good full game sweat where at the end it's a happy ending.
We haven't projected for 36 yards at the moment, but that's before I've done the sweep through our projections where I adjust everything for the specific matchup, and because of how much too high Miami played, it's going to be Henry's probably going to end up projected for us around like 41, 42 yards.
Oh wow, awesome. Well, guys, I'm actually going to go to a play for tonight for you. We're going to go Yankees on the first.
Oh, don't get me going this early in the day, JD.
You get the Yankees minus half running the first 5 at minus 117 here. So that is what we're going to go on for tonight. So you have 2 bets for actually Sunday, then our 1 play for tonight also. So once again, yes, tonight for me, we're going with the Yankees on the first 5 run line, minus 117. For actually Alex, we're going Hunter Henry over 31.5 receiving yards, minus 118. Then for Alpha, we're going to go and lock in the Broncos on the money line at minus 129.
There we go. Gentlemen, Mason Moody, our guy, wants some Latvian hockey. So
it's
there's
actually
only one person
actually
on here.
going on right now.
There's only one person on this stage right now who's the king of Latvian hockey. So, Alex, welcome to the Latvian hockey show, brother. We need your locks. I'm obviously kidding. I'm assuming you know nothing about Latvian hockey like me, and I hope that doesn't change because we're going to stick with NP, who's been absolutely crushing it. So, NP, keep posting those Latvian hockey locks. I'm always down to tail something I don't know, so we appreciate that. Fellas, we have about 1,200 people still rocking with us an hour into the show. We appreciate every single one of the viewers. But not only do we appreciate the viewers, JD, I can speak for the both of us that Alex, you've been absolutely fantastic. We cannot thank you enough for coming in, giving your insight on props, analysis, everything with FTN. Guys, if you liked what Alex had to say, give him a follow. It takes 2 seconds. You can see him on the tweet we posted for the show. Give him a follow. His @ is right down there, Alex Blickle 1. Check him out. JD. Do you have anything to say to Alex as well before we let him get his final words? He can tell people where to find him, what he's got going on. He has a VIP. We'll let him go over that as well with Tails. But before we do, JD, any words?
Yeah, man. Yeah, you basically actually said everything, man. A big thanks to you, man. We actually really loved having you on here. Definitely looking forward to hopefully having you on again. Yeah, man. Definitely tell everybody where to find you at.
Appreciate it, guys. You can find me, like I said, on Tails. I do a lot of DFS stuff. So obviously, like here, we talked mostly props and betting, and I do that stuff too. But I really, really love the DFS stuff. And I think what I do more so than what you can find at like other sites around the industry is just talk the deep strategy of DFS. So if you're playing DFS, I just finished 7th in the Millie Maker in week 1, took home 50,000. And you know what? Nico Collins owes me some money because basically anything that Nico did would have brought me quite a bit more, and was very much in the running for that Millie. So that was a lot of fun. And yes, you can find me over at Tails. You can find me at FTN Fantasy. And as I mentioned, you can use promo code Blick for 10% off over at FTN Fantasy. If you want all of the types of stats that I mentioned here on the show, we chart our own data there. And I think we are by far the most reliable in the industry in the way we chart.
Absolutely, man. We can't thank you enough, and congratulations. 50K is nothing to look away at. So congrats. It's an awesome win.
Appreciate it.
I can only imagine. Absolutely. JD, There's only one thing left to do on the show now. And you know, right about this time daily, it's about time for my lunchy. So I need you to do the thing so my fat ass can eat.
Yeah, guys. For a Wednesday midday, we have actually over 1,200 people live. Shout out to everybody here. Shout out to the chat. But yeah, guys, there's only one thing left to do. Let's fucking win.
Let's fucking win. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Same time, same place. Peace out, everybody.